Aquarius, hi, how are you? It's Lisa, and I'm here to do the middle of the month reading for October 2022. It's a general reading, so it won't resonate with everybody, but take what does, leave what doesn't. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for coming in and seeing it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it and you'll come back again. If you like, you can give me a thumbs up, subscribe, write me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And for those of you who've been here before a while, or before, I'm so glad that you're here. I appreciate the support. It means a lot. Let's find out what Aquarius needs to know for the middle of October 2022. What does Aquarius need to know for the middle of October 2022? Okay, we got the Four of Cups, the Six of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Seven of Cups, what's Cups? The Five of Wands, and the Six of Swords. All right, let's see what goes on here, and then I'll clarify with another deck, and we'll pull a couple oracle cards at the end. Okay, just give me 1 second. All right, right now it looks like you're feeling kind of, this is how you feel about yourself right now. Maybe that you're lacking somewhere in a situation. Could be a relationship. Doesn't have to be though, but it could be a form of a relationship, friendship, or romantic or otherwise. And it's just like where you felt like you've been putting in a lot of effort and, time and energy. And there was a point where you were supposed to be able to, maybe get rewarded, or if somebody else isn't putting in the same amount of effort as you are. So where you had the Three Cups and then they hand you this fourth cup and it's almost like an afterthought. And I feel like you're at this point, you're like, I don't really think I want that. Like you're kind of dissatisfied. So maybe you're sitting there going, well, where were you before? Or why didn't you think that or say that before? So it's almost like, I always think of it as a pity cup. It's like, oh, well, okay, here, fine, you could have it. Well, no, so maybe you just want to know, why weren't they as involved and engaged as you were in whatever the situation is. All right. But what you actually do want, apparently, out of the situation, or like during this month, is, I feel like you have like this feeling of nostalgia, family, closeness, things that the way you grew up, the way, what you were taught. I mean, it could be like just, tight family values, and you're thinking about that, and you're thinking about old friends. It doesn't actually always have to be family, but it could be friends that you haven't seen for a little while. So maybe you're actually feeling like you want to reach out to people too. Maybe you happened on them, on one of the social medias, and you're like, oh, I wonder what they're doing, or, and you're thinking about it and go, maybe I should reach out, maybe I should contact them. And again, it could be friends or family. I feel like you're just really having a lot of deja vu kind of feelings, just about nostalgia and what you had grown up with, or when you grew up. Now we do have this Queen of Wands. And this is coming up as, it's possibly a person, male or female, but it's definitely something that you are not really wanting to be around, maybe. It could be the attitude. I mean, as far as, the Queen of Wands, she's very courageous and confident. And, she's all gung-ho and, a lot of energy and independence. But in this spread, it's actually coming up as a part of your anxieties and fears. Is this a person that makes you maybe feel uncomfortable, makes you not want to really be around them that much? Or are you actually kind of just avoiding them right now for whatever the reason might be? It could be that, you were just trying to avoid that characteristics in yourself, but doesn't feel like that. But I wonder if when you were like happenstancing on the multimedias or, whatever, you came across a person, and not necessarily that this is them, and it could be male or female, but it could be one of the things that you were thinking about going, I'd love to touch base with them. I'd love to touch base with them, not them. And I feel like you're like going, no, for whatever reason. Maybe they just went through your mind and you're just like, nah, I'm not really trying to do that. It could, in another situation, it could be somebody you're closer to, and maybe you've had words with them or you've crossed paths and, didn't turn out well, and you really rather not be around them. For, maybe it is like something where that you run into them at work, or you run into them, in your daily life. Could be a member of your family. It's possible. But I don't know. If it resonates with you, you'd know. Then we have the Seven of Cups, and this is just, you have so many options and so many choices, and you don't have to pin yourself down into any particular thing. So maybe you are looking into like catching up with people and seeing how they're doing, and you're looking into it. And you have to remember that you have to make things that are like kind of, they're not too outlandish, they're not too pie in the sky, because not all options or choices are actually, always good or always doable. And I think you might have to just try to narrow down your choices. You might have to decide, as far as who you're going to contact or who you want to be around. And, and this could be in another situation too. I mean, this could be in like involved in like work or family outings or just life events where you just really have to single out what you actually want to do instead of, trying to like get a hold of everything. And because sometimes if you get overwhelmed with so many choices, you actually don't choose anything. I've actually done that before. It's like, here, quick story. I was at Old Navy, and there's jeans everywhere. And I was just looking for a pair of jeans, and there was just so many different choices. They got the mid cut, and they got the high cut, and then they got extra high cut, and then the ones that are called tower. I was in there trying on jeans for so long, and I could not think. After a while, I left. I'm like, you know what? I'll come back another day, because it was actually too many options at the time. And I was like, my brain got all messed up. So you want to make sure when you're doing any options that you have, and this is romances, relationships, jobs, you want to make sure you're like actually able to home in on what it is that you truly want, and not just like have all these ideas floating around in your head. You want to kind of like, kind of ground them a little bit and say like, okay, what is important to me? Now this other situation, I feel like with this Five of Wands, this is something that it's not working for you. So I don't know what situation this is in, but you may be having some kind of, little static between you and some other people. Could be you and one other person. But it feels like this, maybe you guys have a lot of opinions, and I don't know where you spend your daily time, but there's a lot of opinions, and there's a lot of, this person thinking this and this person thinking that, and everybody's trying to get out what they want to say, but nobody's listening to the other person. So I feel like you're not a fan. Maybe it's just like you don't like conflict, you don't like arguments, you just try to like steer away from them as much as you can. And now with this Six of Swords, just feels like whatever it is like causing you to maybe think about, there's different options that you have. Maybe, again, you're thinking about the past because you're remembering and thinking about maybe when times were like, maybe not easier, but just easier, just kind of like simpler, that was it. And where you don't feel so much like static and aggression, not like a physical aggression, but like a little bit like just the energy's like all charged up there. And I think you might be thinking about slipping out, maybe going where it's calmer, getting out of these rocky waters. Because it just might not be something that you're interested in doing anymore. Or if it's a job, it could be a relationship, it could be your social life. There might be people that you're kind of like butting heads with. But We'll clarify and we'll see if we can find out. All right, let's see. What about this Four of Cups? All right, you got the Eight of Coins and the Sun. So that looks like to me, yeah, the Four of Cups, you felt disappointed. You felt like you were just not getting enough acknowledgement for whatever your part of that relationship or situation was. And I feel like, all right, you're thinking about it like, okay, I've worked hard, I've done what I needed to do. And I guess at some point it made you very happy. Or maybe it does. Maybe some days it makes you happy. That's not necessarily in the past, but just maybe, today maybe it sucked, but yesterday wasn't so bad. So I think maybe you're like back and forth with that. It feels like that. Because maybe sometimes this pity cup doesn't feel like a pity cup, and other times it does. So I just feel like, you've done the work, you know how to do it, and I feel like you just want to make sure that, you're kind of acknowledged for it, or just, that you're given the same, I don't even know the word, just that you're being treated that, like you've done the work and you know how to do it. What about the Six of Cups? Makes you think of the Six of Cups. Well, you got the Nine of Staffs and the Hangman. So this just makes me think of, with this actually so close to this Queen of Wands, it makes me think of, all right, maybe there was some kind of, bad blood between you and somebody else. And so you're always been kind of ready for it. Maybe I don't know, it could be just somebody that just, they always know how to get to you. They always know how to push your buttons. And I feel like you're ready for it, and I think you're like, because you've been through it, and it's like, you know what you need to do if it does happen again. So you're kind of like on guard for that situation, but you're also like just wary of it, and it could happen again. And you might be deciding like, let me look at this in a different way, and maybe I'll see something better. But it's also a matter of, okay, well, you know what? If I do contact them, and I'm thinking about that Queen of Wands, whoever that is to you, it's almost like you are aware of what the consequences could be. And it could be just getting into a fight, or getting into, not physical, but an argument, having bad words, not bad words, but just that, having just a lot of sharp-tongued, caustic stuff between you for whatever reason. And I feel like you're either accepting that consequence and you're like, this is just what it's going to be, I just have to be ready for it. Or it might be just like, let me look at it differently. Maybe, maybe it's been some time, so they're not going to be as horrible as they were. And maybe they're not horrible, you just might not click, Let me see what this Queen of Wands. Oops. You got the Seven of Swords and the Ten of Coins. Now, is it very possible that this Queen of Wands person, whoever this is, they might be somebody who, in whatever they were to you, they might have been very well off. They might have been, where they seem to have it all together. I'm not going to say all about money and everything, but they just seem to have it all together, and, something that it just was. Maybe it just was. But maybe there was something about them that was not actually kosher, and you were aware of it. I don't know what situation it could be, and I'm not necessarily saying that they Seven of Swords you, but maybe there was something in their life that you kind of saw that, and maybe that's what makes you uncomfortable about this situation. So maybe when you were going through your media feed or whatever, you're like, nah, no. And it might not, I don't know. But it just seems like, not that they were a bad person, just that maybe there were some things that you didn't agree with in their situation, that you wouldn't have done it that way. And they could have had everything. They, maybe they showed off that they had everything, and maybe you were a little bit jealous about that. But then you saw that there was something a little bit sketchy about going on, and maybe just made you uncomfortable. You're like, I don't know if I really want to be around somebody who's that, maybe devious, or maybe, like, I don't know, did they cheat on their spouse? Did they, did they lie, they cheat, they steal? I don't know. But maybe you were aware of something that made you uncomfortable then, so you're not really trying to be uncomfortable again. Huh. But that does make me think, why would you then... Yeah, maybe you're, if it comes up, so maybe if it's not even like you getting in touch with them, maybe if they decide to get in touch with you at some point, maybe you're like, okay, well, I know what the situation is, I'm ready for it, I'll handle it, and then I'll deal with the consequences when it happens. Or I'll just see if I can look at it differently because it's been a long time and maybe they're not that person anymore. All right, we got the Page of Staffs and the Five of Cups. And that's on top of your Seven of Cups. All right, so looks like you have an idea that, okay, this could be nice. Again, meeting up with people, seeing what goes on. There's potential in this. Maybe we can get back together as far as, if you used to do like weekly meetings or monthly meetings or whatever you used to do with your friends or even family. Because I feel like you miss them. However it is, like, this guy's got like 5 cups, 3 fell over, but there's still 2 there. So it's just a matter of like, you didn't lose, all is not lost. But I feel like there's a sorrowful feeling about it. It's like, even though this was not a great feeling, I missed that. So maybe it's just like, friends from your past or family you haven't seen for a while or you don't see often. And, maybe it just makes you feel a little bit sad, and maybe you wish that you could do that again. So what about this 5 of Wands? We got the 2 of Swords and the King of Coins. The King of Coins could represent somebody, just they're mature, they're stable, they're grounded. Male or female. Doesn't have to be. That could just be you making this decision about, okay, do I want to get into all this so I could have these feelings or these words? I mean, it might not even be with them. It could be you having this, like, this 5 of Wands energy with yourself, saying, do I want to, do I not want to, what do I want to do? Because I feel like you are going to be making a decision one way or the other. And like I said, they could contact you. I mean, it's a general reading, so it could be flipped-flopped either way. But so it might be you getting contacted, and you might have to decide, do you want to ghost that phone call, or do you want to answer it and see what they got to say? So what about this? What's this? The 6 of Swords. What about the 6 of Swords? All right, the 9 of Swords and the Queen of Staffs. That's funny, okay. Well, she's here. It was Queen of Wands, Queen of Staffs. And I feel like you are actually, I think the idea is it's going to make you kind of stressed out. It's going to make you like a little anxious about hooking up, getting back together with them, hanging out with them, doing whatever. So now this is, again, you have free will, but it feels like it's saying, you know what, maybe no. And not with that, not telling you what you should do, but you might have it in your head saying, yeah, maybe not. You're like gonna like just decide to coast away from it. Yeah, maybe not necessarily ghost the call, but not pick it up right away or something. I don't know. Or maybe not meet up with them. But it just seems like that might be, a little less stress if you don't meet up with them. If that's what we're talking about. Right, let's see what this. Sweetness and balance. All right, well, to me that means, okay, not everything is going to be perfect, not everything's great, but you could always look for the good things, in life and what goes on and what you still have. Like that whole 5 of Cups thing, you still have 2 cups, you still have what's important. And having balance, I think, is really important to you too. Let's see. Work through your fears. Oh, and surrender to the divine. All right. New moon in Scorpio and the full moon. All right, so maybe, again, that's like one or the other. You could either push through, do what you're going to do, and just like leave it up to God or your higher power. But either way, you got to make sure that you know what the good stuff is that you have and that you're balanced about it. All right, Aquarius, I hope you enjoyed it. If it resonates, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, write me a comment. I would love to hear if it resonated with you, and I will be seeing you in a couple weeks. Bye.